Welcome back, everyone. It's Tom here from DigitBear. Thanks for joining us. Today, I want to talk about ungating. And this is going to be obviously for the newer sellers, but this could be a confusing topic because there's a lot of conflicting information out there. Amazon's kind of gray with the way they describe these things. So let's get into what's going on with this stuff. Amazon calls this brand approval. While they call this brand approval, it's more commonly known as ungating. And what it really means is when you are a new seller and you just begin on this platform, Amazon doesn't really know you. They don't know that you are legitimate. They don't know that you're not a scammer. They don't know that you're not selling stolen items. And what they're trying to do here is they're trying to protect their customers and they're trying to protect themselves. So one way they do this, among their many ways, is restricting certain brands for new sellers. Now, why do they do this? As we just said, this is done in an effort to protect the customers. So by restricting certain brands, they're making newer sellers prove that their products are authentic and legitimately sourced. To clarify, Amazon doesn't really want small sellers on their site. They don't really want online arbitrage or retail arbitrage people. But they need them because they account for such a big part of their business. So they make us jump through these hoops for these new products, for these new brands to get ungated. For the most part, it's a song and dance because to get approved for most of these brands is very, very easy. Now, when we first started off 8 years ago, it was a whole different story. But now the rules have changed and more brands are restricted than ever. How do we get around this as new sellers? Well, the first thing we're going to do is first let's focus on the things that we can sell. Let's find some stuff there and get our feet wet in the platform. After we've established ourselves a little bit, then let's look into getting ungated in certain products. Before you go getting ungated in every product that you can, make sure that you can profitably source this. Make sure that if you waste your time getting ungated in this, that it's worth it, right? You don't want to go through all the trouble of ungating in something and find out, well, either I can't get this or I can't make any money off of it anyway. And I think sometimes a lot of beginners just want to get ungated in everything that they can, that they kind of lose focus of the whole main goal, and that's to generate profit. So if you're seeing some of these items that don't generate profit and they're gated, skip them. There's plenty of things to sell. No shortage of that. There's a few different ways that products are restricted. All right. Here's an example of a product that we are restricted in. You can tell because we use the extension RevSeller. And in the top right corner of RevSeller, right here, it tells you requires approval. You don't need this extension to tell you that you're restricted. Many other extensions out there do that. You can also always try to find out by just adding the ASIN to your inventory. It'll tell you right there. But let's click into this requires approval and see what's going on here. This takes us to our Amazon Seller Essential. And it's saying that you need approval to sell this Pediasure brand in new, used, or refurbished conditions. For this case, we're going to see what happens when we go to request approval. So now it actually wants some information from us. This is saying, tell us about your products and your business. They want to know, who are you? Where did you get this from? And are you legitimate? So we are a reseller. Okay, now it's looking for documents. So it's saying we require that all Amazon sellers source these products directly from the manufacturer or an authorized reseller. And it goes on to say, basically what this is telling us is they want to make sure that you're sourcing this from an appropriate place. Now, what we have to do as sellers is prove to them that we, in fact, are. Since we don't buy or sell this product, I don't have an invoice to give them, so I can't bring you through the process. Let's look at what the process is to get the approval, to get the invoices. So this is the restricted product here. We can't deal with this right now, but let's pretend that we were restricted on this product. This is a Dove body wash. Now, sometimes this is a restricted brand. Usually it's not, but let's figure out some of the ways to get approval. Like I said before, there's several different ways you can get approved. What we just saw is the method getting approved with an invoice. That's predominantly what's going to happen. That's what you're going to see most of the time. Other times, they're just going to ask you a few questions. It'll be like a little quiz, if you will. And if you pass it, which you will, you get approved. Sometimes you get auto-approved. And we find the larger seller you are, the more frequently this happens. By now, we get auto-approved on nearly everything. Honestly, we had to search for a long time to find something that we were not auto-approved on with that formula. So don't get discouraged. The larger you get, the easier this gets, I assure you. So now we have this product and we need to prove to Amazon how it's authentic. Well, let's think about where we're actually getting this product from. Let's assume that we are doing retail arbitrage and we walked into a Walmart and this was on clearance for $1. Well, we're going to buy it because we're going to triple our money. However, Amazon does not like to accept retail receipts as proof of purchase. That being said, I've heard plenty of instances where they have accepted them because most of these acceptance or denials come from bots. So honestly, sometimes you just get lucky. I've heard of people sending in blank pieces of paper and getting approved. And then I've heard of people sending in the legitimate invoice from a manufacturer 10 times and still getting denied. So there's really no true rhyme or reason for the way Amazon does anything. Now that we know that Amazon doesn't want retail receipts, let's think about what they do want. They want an invoice. An invoice shows a few things. An invoice shows the seller of the product so they can verify that they're an actual supplier. It shows the buyer, in this case, your business address and your business name. Now, this is very important. When you're getting an invoice from somewhere, you want to make sure that the address on the invoice matches the address on your seller account identically. It has to be the same. If the zip code is off by a number, it's likely to get it rejected. If you have the wrong town or the wrong anything in there, you just want to be careful with that because I've seen lots of rejections for that. Okay, so where do people get invoices from? Generally, we get them from wholesale suppliers or distributors or the manufacturer. But when we started out, none of us had this luxury. We didn't have wholesalers. We were just doing retail arbitrage and online arbitrage. So I'm going to show you a few places that makes this process very simple. First place is probably the easiest place. It's probably where you're going to find most of your value, where you're going to find most of the ability to get ungated. Let's say we were purchasing this item in a retail store. Now, that's not going to work. Amazon doesn't want the retail receipts. That's not showing that we're legitimate, and it's not showing that we are a real company because anyone can get it. They want an actual piece of paper that says invoice on it, and it needs to be very clearly marked. Okay, so here's a great place to find this product. We can look at Target.com. Now, you want to be sure that when you're purchasing this item at Target, you're going to buy it online and not in store. If you buy it in store, you'll have a retail receipt, and Amazon doesn't like that. So we want to make sure that we buy it online because when you buy it online, they give you an invoice. So let's say, back to this Dove soap here. Let's say that we were restricted on this and we needed to get approved for it. First, we're going to try to find it in Target. So we're going to go Dove body. We'll type it right. Okay. Now we're going to look and say, wow, there's a lot of different Dove body washes out here. How do I know which one's the right one? Because when you're providing them the invoice, it has to be the exact product that you're looking for. So you'll find a specific product, provide them the invoice for that specific product, make sure the products match, and that will get you ungated. Generally speaking, if you get ungated in one Dove soap, you'll be ungated in all of the Dove soaps. So you only have to do this really once per brand. Sometimes, the longer you go, like I said before, the more brands that you'll be auto-approved in. So it's not always like this. So we're looking for a Dove soap here, and there's a lot of different ones out there. So here is the best way to do this, to ensure that you're getting the right product. Now, let's pretend that you don't have this extension rev seller because the information that we need is right here in front of us. If you don't, on the Amazon product page, just do a Control F and search for the letters UPC. And you'll see down here at the bottom of the page, you'll see the UPC that's attached to this. Now, this doesn't always work because a lot of the times the Amazon UPCs are incorrect. But it does work a lot of the time. And let's see if it works this time. Jackpot. So now we have a pretty good idea that we have the same product, but we want to be positive that we have the same product. So let's just look. Dove Beauty Deep Moisturizer, 30.6 ounce. Back over here. Dove Body Wash Pump, 30.6 ounce. This is deep moisture. We're in good place. This is the right thing. Now that we have this, now that we've identified it on Target, all you have to do is buy 10 units of this. You buy 10 units of this and you have it shipped directly to the address that you have on file with Amazon. It has to be the business address that you have on file, otherwise they'll say no. Once you receive the order from Target, you'll be able to print out your invoice, or your invoice will be in the actual box. You'll take that invoice and you'll upload it into Amazon Seller Central. Sometimes you might have to bring pictures of the products too. They do that so people don't just buy the product, get the invoice, and then cancel the order. Most times this will work. Sometimes it won't. When it doesn't work, it's for a few different reasons. And Amazon doesn't always tell you. But here are some of the most common reasons why it's not working. The most common reason, and the most annoying reason, is that nobody's looking at it. It's going to a bot, and the bot is messing up. It's missing something. In that case, we say, if it doesn't work the first time, try a second time. Keep trying 6, 7, 8, 9 times. If you know that you have the right product with the right information on it, just keep trying and it eventually will work. If it doesn't work, it could be a variety of reasons. Your product could be incorrect, so you want to check that. You didn't buy enough. You have to buy at least 10 of the same item. It could also be that your seller information doesn't match the invoice, or the invoice isn't legible. It's crumpled up, or it's got marks on it, or it's got markings on it, whatever it may be. Most times this will work though, so you don't have to worry about it. But there are items that you need to get ungated for that aren't sold in Target. Let's look at a couple different sites that you can go to get ungated pretty easily in products. First, we have Entertainment Earth, commonly known as EE. This company you can sign up for a wholesale account with. And I will tell you right now, from personal experience, that their prices are garbage. This site is good for one thing and one thing only, and that's this. It's just to get ungated. Now, there's a couple different ways to go about this. There's two schools of thought. You could either buy things for the sake of getting ungated and be willing to lose some money. Because when you buy something from Target like that, you can just return those body washes. You don't have to send them. You don't have to sell them. But when you buy something from a distributor like this, you're pretty much stuck with it. So you could buy it, sell it, take the loss, all for the greater good of getting ungated, or you can see if you can scour through this site and find one thing that maybe doesn't lose money. It's up to you. Another site is this Frontier Co-op. I'm sure you've heard of this before. This is a very popular site. You're able here to create a wholesale account. You click on the wholesale over here, and it's going to bring you to a different page. And this is where you're going to want to order from. You're going to want to be sure that you order from the wholesale portion of this. This way you know you get an invoice. Same story with this. Their prices are terrible, but they're good for getting ungated. And that's about it. Next site is Webstaurant. Same situation. They're going to give you an invoice. You're going to be able to probably make some money on this one if you dig deep enough. Webstaurant is actually a good place to source food service items from, like things that you would see in restaurants, like giant gallons of like Red Hot or hot sauce or any of those things. Webstaurant is a good place for that. And then, of course, the whole world enjoys getting ungated with Kohl's. And Kohl's is a good place to do this because Amazon's a little looser with their policies because of their relationship with Kohl's. Same situation. You can buy stuff, use the invoice, and return it. This is a nice, easy way to get ungated too. So I would say Target and Kohl's are your best bets. And then lastly, I just hear of this site, Champ Sports. I don't know if this is a good place or not, but I've heard it from several different people that it is. Take that for what it's worth. Now, the ungating process seems daunting because it's all new to us. Really, you just have to look at it like this. This is a cost of doing business. This is a barrier to entry for a new business. Now, we all know that a lot of people are far too lazy to do this, which is a shame because once you do it, it's done, and then you can start making some real money. Now, if there's one thing that I can stress to you more than anything else in this entire ungating process, is this. Do not, under any circumstances, no matter what you hear from anyone, try to make a fake invoice for Amazon. The only reason why you would ever do that is if you enjoy being suspended, if that's your thing. But seriously, don't do it. They will catch on and they will suspend you forever. There is a huge opportunity on Amazon, and I would hate to see you waste it because of someone's bad advice. If they catch on, you're done, and you're done forever. They're going to block you. They're going to block your IPs. Yes, you can probably get around it one way or another. But the point is this is so easy to do when you do it legitimately in the right way that there's no need to do it the wrong way. And especially, don't pay anyone. No one should be charging you for this advice. We offer a course, a full service course where we wouldn't dare charging for this advice because we want you to get started. So anyone that's trying to charge you for this, no good. No good. And anyone that tells you for X amount of dollars they'll get you ungated yourself, stay away because nothing good is coming from that either. How are they doing it so easily? Don't do it. I'm telling you, let's stick to these processes, these procedures. They absolutely work. They will go nice and quick, and before you know it, you're going to be scaling, and this is going to be a figment of your imagination. Lastly, I'll say this. I've seen a lot of videos and a lot of content about people talking about how to do this, buying it directly off of Amazon.com. Now, it's risky for a bunch of reasons, but mostly it's just unnecessary risk because there's so many other places that you can do it that why are you even taking the risk with Amazon not wanting you to do something? We have to realize that they're in the driver's seat. Whether we don't directly work for them or not, they own us. They own me. I'm perfectly fine to admit it. They do. Also, if you buy anything on Walmart.com, or if you buy anything on Target.com, or if for some reason you're buying stuff on Amazon.com, which I really don't recommend because I don't see the need for the risk. But if you do, be sure that you're buying it from someone that is not a third-party seller. If you show up to Amazon with an invoice from a third-party seller, they're going to tell you to kick rocks. They don't want to see this. So while this process is daunting and it could be scary and overwhelming, it can also be quite simple. So if you have any questions or if you need any help with this, drop it in the comments and one of us will get back to you as soon as we can. This can be done. You got this? Let's hustle up.